it's out of my sight, kind of like what you said. And I think for me, I think that's what
A certain way of understanding human life and activity has gone awry, to the serious detriment of the world around us. Should we not pause and consider this?
The external deserts in the world are growing because the internal deserts have become so vast.
It's based on the lie that there is an infinite supply of the earth's goods, and this leads to the planet being squeezed dry beyond every limit.
Sin is manifest in all its destructive power, in wars, in the various forms of violence and abuse, the abandonment of the most vulnerable, and attacks on nature.
Each age tends to have only a mere awareness of its own limitations. It is possible that we do not grasp the gravity of the challenges now before us. Many people will deny doing anything wrong because distractions constantly dull our consciousness of just how limited and finite our world really is. As a result, whatever is fragile, like the environment, is defenseless before the interests of a deified market, which become the only rule.
The human environment and the natural environment deteriorate together. We cannot adequately combat environmental degradation unless we attend to causes related to human and social degradation.
Nature cannot be regarded as something separate from ourselves or as a mere setting in which we live. We are part of nature, included in it, and thus in constant interaction with it.
A sense of deep communion with the rest of nature cannot be real if our hearts lack tenderness, compassion, and a concern for our fellow human beings. When our hearts are authentically open to universal communion, this sense of fraternity excludes nothing and no one. It follows that our indifference or cruelty towards the fellow creatures of this world sooner or later affects the treatment we mete out to other human beings.
We cannot fail to consider the effects of people's lives on environmental deterioration, current models of development, and the throwaway culture.
The current global situation engenders a feeling of instability and uncertainty, which in turn becomes a seedbed for collective selfishness.
Ecological culture cannot be reduced to a series of urgent and partial responses to the immediate problems of pollution, environmental decay, and the depletion of natural resources. There needs to be a distinctive way of looking at things, a way of thinking, policies, an educational program, a lifestyle, and a spirituality which together generate resistance to the assault of the technocratic paradigm.
It is essential to seek comprehensive solutions which consider the interactions within natural systems themselves and with social systems. We are faced not with two separate crises, one environmental and the other social, but rather with one complex crisis, which is both social and environmental. Strategies for a solution demand an integrated approach to combating poverty, restoring dignity to the excluded, and at the same time, protecting nature.
These actions cultivate a shared identity with a story which can be remembered and handed on. In this way, the world and the quality of life of the poorest are cared for with a sense of solidarity, which is at the same time aware that we live in a common home which God has entrusted to us.
Social love is the key to authentic development. In order to make society more human, more worthy of the human person, love in social life, political, economic, and cultural, must be given renewed value.
Each creature has its own purpose. None is superfluous. The entire material universe speaks of God's love, His boundless affection for us. Soil, water, mountains, everything is, as it were, a caress of God. Are there any questions? Lunch downstairs. You'll just follow your nose. Everybody get a study guide? We've just got paragraphs.